Hey y'all, it's your girl Booney, and you're listening to the Booney Breakdown Podcast, your source for all things responsible and ratchet. All right, welcome to this week's episode. I'm excited because we have with us another return guest to the Booney Breakdown. We have Samia, and you guys remember Samia from Sexual Essentials and Not Just Another Sex Podcast and the art exhibit. But she's in a period of transformation, also a lesson in resiliency. And now she is the Bankrupt Millionaire. And it is an amazing conversation. I mean, we got in a little business. We did a little sex talk in the beginning because, I just had to. That's my girl, Samia, okay? But we talk about what is it like to transition and to let everything go, right? And just losing it all and transforming a life that allows you freedom, that gives you joy, that is happiness. Samia pointed on something about effortless effort. And I think that is what resonated with me in this conversation. So you want to stick around for this because, I just got to set this up. Like when I saw the transparency that Samia was sharing when she was shutting down her content house, and I noticed the pullback in content surrounding Sexual Essentials and Not Just Another Sex Podcast. We don't often get that level of honesty from people who have built such a large platform, who've gone that far, who became a millionaire. They don't share the fall just as openly. And so this conversation for people who are afraid to start over, you have something yearning in you that you want to sit down and let go. If you are trying to trying to understand your path in life, and sometimes when you get to the fork in the road, what you should do, should you listen to yourself? Should you bet on yourself? Should you take a pause? This is the conversation with you. And even if you are not going through all of those things, I think just to hear someone's story of resiliency and transformation could just be so eye-opening. So you want to stick around for the conversation with Samia. All right, we're going to get into my pick of the week. Now, this one is a little more unconventional, but I think this goes with the theme of our episode. For my pick of the week this week, it's perfume, the perfume community, okay? The fragrance world, the fragrance threads, the fragrance girlies and guys. I'm not a sneakerhead. I'm not really I like jewelry. I like nice bags. I like sunglasses. I'm an accessories girl. And what better accessory than your fragrance? So I got to shout out Ash. I got to shout out Brandy. They started this community where it's such a genius concept. They have these really great curated events where we get to sample and try. Because who got time to be blind buying perfume, okay? Especially because some of this stuff is expensive. But just the community that they have developed. And I think that's where I was really going with my pick of the week community. And with this episode, it's like, just fragrances has introduced me to new people and a new community of people over something like-minded, but we can break bread, have a good time, have a good kiki, but then I get to sample, okay? I get to sample and try a $300 perfume that may smell great and everyone's raving about it, but on me, it does not smell like anything. And so I am thankful for things that can bring people together, that you can foster and deepen community. Does not even have to be deep. Fragrance, perfumes. We shared all type of stuff there. There was $400 bottles of fragrances, but then there were $20 bottles of oils. And so I am thankful when things align, that I can develop community in different ways. And I said this back in an episode I did this season solo. It was one of my pick of the weeks. I believe that was episode, oh God, I don't know, 262 or something I don't know, like that. But it was in this season. And I just feel like, community can get us through some of the hard times. So whatever it is, if it's you are walking, you can find a walking group. You're exercising, you're into the Pilates thing right now, go find a Pilates group. You like to read, go find a book club. But I just feel like deepening your sense of community around things you enjoy or a hobby Booney's pick of the week. I didn't know how to quantify or to sum that up, but I hope you got the message that I was trying to get across.
Housekeeping. Come back later, please. Housekeeping? Not now.
All right. So last week we ran a replay of episode 217 with Nicema from Intentionally Financial. And a lot of you loved hearing that back. I just felt like the time we were in with all these changes in the stock market that also I think is market manipulation by our current administration. But if we can find ways to make a little coin while they playing with the market too, or find to balance your budget, I just thought this was a great episode to run back at the time. Prior to that, we did have an episode with Brittany Brodus Smith, from the Intimacy Firm, our Christian sexologist. Y'all went up in my DMs over this episode. It was so much commentary. One of the things that I did push back, and I know I get this comment a lot in terms of the perspective that's shared on the podcast, and it comes from the heterosexual lens because I'm straight. So, but that was some of the feedbacks I got that, you need to have her back on for round 2 to kind of talk about how she navigates the LGBTQ plus community in the religious space and in churches. So I had wanted to ask her that, but then we went on some tangents and I just kind of, the conversation was flowing and I forgot to bring it up. So if you have not checked out the replay and that episode 269 with the Intimacy Firm, I encourage you to go back and do that. Also, we're over on Patreon, so you can head on over to patreon.com/The Boonie Breakdown. It's a flat rate of $6 a month just to get some extra little touch points with your girl Boonie. Because you know what else? They have found out the date of the live show before y'all did. They're going to get access to the tickets for the live shows before you all. They're going to get a discount code for the live shows before the general pop. Okay. So, just, if you want to support, this is an extra way that you can do it. Patreon.com/The Boonie Breakdown. And with that said, yes, Boonie Live, we are back. If you follow us on social, I hope you do. We dropped the date for the Baltimore show, which will be Saturday, August 23rd. Tickets and lineup and all that great stuff is coming soon. But Saturday, August 23rd. So go ahead and save the date. I hope to see you there. I am definitely going to try to do it. I know I'm going to do another show somewhere. I would like to do 2 more shows. So Baltimore and 2 more shows. I'm narrowed in back on New York again. I think I'm going to head back to New York. I would like to go to the South. The short list for the South right now is Charlotte, Atlanta, New Orleans, Houston. Gotta tell it right now, New Orleans and Charlotte are kind of battling it out because the Racketeer gang there, they've been supplying the venue option. So I hope to have that narrowed down at least in the next 2 weeks of where the other dates and where else we would go. So if this is your first time listening, I hope you follow us on social media. We're most active on Instagram and Threads at The Boonie Breakdown. We're on Facebook, The Boonie Breakdown. And I also would like if you guys could leave me a 5-star review over in Apple Podcasts and in Spotify. It just really helps me out a lot. So that's it for me. This was a little long, so I'm gonna shut the fuck up and let's get ready to break it down. Okay, so I think back for the 3rd time or 4th time, you've been on the Boonie Breakdown before, but Samia's here, y'all.
Hey, y'all, we back.
How are you?
I am doing well, girl. I'm like, let me put my phone on Do Not Disturb.
I just put all the devices on Do Not Disturb.
I'm doing well.
It's been a while.
I know, right? How are you doing? You look great.
I think you do too. Life is good. I could complain, but it ain't no point in that. So, just gonna enjoy and try to make some pivots and bring the joy that I want the best way I can. So
all right,
that's all I can do.
Well,
Now
you
you know what's missing. I'm gonna tap into your old life first. That's not your old.
okay. But do your journalism thing. Bring it all together. I'm just here. I'm just a fly on the wall.
I'm gonna put your old hat on real quick. You know what's missing though in my life right now
I feel that.
is I have not had sex this year.
Neither have I. Neither have I. Unless, the sex with myself. But
Yeah.
even that's only doing so much. I haven't either. I haven't had sex in almost a year. And even when I did, I don't really count that.
Why don't you count it?
It it wasn't like consistent. It was kind of
Okay.
like, oh, maybe I'll do this, and it just didn't work. I kind of shut things down um as soon as I saw that. And then also it wasn't emotional. It was
Okay.
more so like, oh, maybe this is, a buddy I can have, and really just kind of flirting with things that aren't what we want, and thinking that, as long as I have, control over my emotions. But I realized that it's not an emotional thing. It's
Okay.
a lot of, and I'm just going to say it, a lot of people or men don't know how to respect women once they sleep with them.
Ooh.
And they don't have the same desires, and they are also not as freaked out as they think they are. And so it just keeps proving to be not worth it. And so, as open-minded as I am about sex, it's not even that. I can't even take advantage of my open-mindedness because it's not respectful to even sleep with these men. It's like, it's not even respectful. And, once you really start tapping into, like, your power, it's just not even worth serving up a slice to
Of the pussy.
anybody.
That's how I feel. Like, I am 40 now.
Oh my gosh, are you?
It is
Oh, so fucking good.
thank you.
Girl, what you 40 for real?
I am. I'm 40.
Girl, I thought we was like the same age.
No, I'm 40. So I will take the compliment, sis. But what has happened with me, I was talking to my friends a couple weeks ago, and I asked them, with turning 40, what revelation or what did you step into that you're standing on? And for me, the one thing was I'm done lying to myself in any capacity. And I think we do that often, right? Because you want to make something work, or like you're trying to put a circle in a square, and that's not what it's supposed to be. And so for me, it wasn't even this big enlightenment or decision I'm not going to have sex, but I'm kind of in that same space where I can talk about it, flip about it, do it. I can do a lot of things, but I'm just not meeting people that I want to exchange that energy with. They
It would
aren't worth
literally be
it.
forcing it. It would literally
Yeah.
be forcing it to try to, like, it's like people will end up hitting a lick off some pussy all because you horny, and there's literally no chemistry, no compatibility. And even if there is chemistry, they're jumping the gun so fast and not really knowing how, like, you could tell that these are practice lines, or it's just
This is
the
what I do, and next I'm gonna do this, and I'm gonna say that, and it's just not worth it to me. And even, like, I was talking to another guy, and this guy, like, I won't say we're friends, acquaintances, we've never had sex. I was interested at one point, but now I'm just like, "I think I'm good with you staying in this box." And I said to him, he was like, "Well, you just went on vacation. Why didn't you have sex then?" And I'm like, "Well, it's not like that many men are fucking good that it's even worth having the one night stand." So at this point, it's like I feel like I'm in this really weird space where it's just like I don't know where the next or I know where my next orgasm's coming from, me.
Now that
Where my
I
next
know.
partnered orgasm's coming from, I don't know. I don't know.
It's so funny that you say I'm at this point where I'm done lying to myself, and I absolutely resonate with that 1,000%. But I don't think that means that we still, I think that not lying, saying that you're not lying to yourself anymore, the funny truth about that is that sometimes you've stopped lying to yourself, which means now you have to face the truth.
Woo-hoo-hoo.
So some of these mistakes that you're making, it is not because you're lying to yourself. It's not because you're being delusional. It's because you literally do not see your worth in the details. And it's not always just dating. Sometimes it's
Mhm.
business decisions. Sometimes it's a lifestyle change. A lot of times it's not sex. And I've just had to learn the hard way that a lot of times whatever you're getting from someone sexually is really just a reflection of how they feel about themselves in so many different ways. And honestly, every single choice that we make is a reflection of how we feel about ourselves. And a lot of people can't mask their self-worth anymore behind
Yeah.
because like you just with time and with age, discernment comes along with that compatibility and that discernment is tied to your intuition, and your intuition is tied to your safety, and if that girl ain't safe, she just not moving, she not talking the same, no matter how fine I think you are, I can't help it that my discernment and my
Preach.
intuition has grown in so many areas that even though you say you're interested, I know that you don't even know what that means.
And that was the too I was saying to another group of friends is that the discernment between I said it's a really hard place because one of them was saying, like, "You could have sex." Like, you I said, "Yeah, sure, 1,000% right. I could text somebody, DM somebody, I could get sex like that, not a problem." I said, "But the problem is it's the person attached to it." And the point you just said about, like, the facing the truth of what these people are or what you're dealing with, it's not worth the disruption for me, and I
Mm,
think that is where I've landed. Also, where I literally shed tears, and I think the timing of this even times out with this whole I'm done." My old faithful moved.
oh, she said, "I ain't got no choice." She said, "Even if I wanted to renege, I can't."
Right? And I think that is probably the longest sexual relationship I've had ever, and when I was thinking back about it, I was saying at the crust of it, even though we were never together, we would go to dinner, like, there was a level of care and respect that we both had for each other, which is why I think it worked, and we were always honest. And for me, I just to your point, I don't I'm not encountering that from men, and what I feel like there's interest, but you don't like me, you just wanna fuck me, and that is the point where I can see through it clear as day now. Whereas 27-year-old Adrian,
I might be down for that. That's all I need you to
he's
know.
fine, right? And I think too, taking it another layer that I had to peel back for myself is being the fat girl, being the big girl. I could pull a fine nigga. And so it was always then like a boost to my ego, like, well, I pulled him. I pulled
These
him.
things that we do are for a bit of validation, and I
Yes.
can say that I am fighting that good fight of, like you said, telling yourself the truth, not really lying or playing around anymore, and just say that a lot of things that I've done recently have, not recently, I guess, closing out, have been done out of validation.
Mhm.
And if intention is good, I don't think we realize how much we're looking for the answer in someone else. And I don't think it's really about me being done. It's one area, it's one part. It's not the only type of companionship, like, sometimes we need a type of companionship that allows us not to talk, to be able to escape. Like, recently, I adopted a dog, and I fully am aware of why those people be letting them animals lick them everywhere and in their mouth, and they be now, do I do all that? No.
But you get it.
Them little motherfuckers got a soul. It's a soul in there, okay? So, I get it. This dog has been so much of what I need. I think that our children are they're soulmates. We're looking for our soul family where we can be. It's just so many of us are looking for a certain type of itch to be scratched when it comes to, like, that self-love thing. And we just have to give ourselves permission to not every time we free up some fucking energy, we give it away. We get on a
Yes.
project, we join a club, we host this, we start dating so and so. Run a track record. I can't tell you one nigga that ain't been up in this pussy whose life has not elevated, if not tried to step into my entire personality. I
Come on now.
cannot name one. So it's not even about, like, regret. It's about hearing someone complain and yap about, like, "Oh, I don't have time to really do those types of hobbies," or like, "Oh, I wish I could do this," but you don't want to. Like,
Yeah.
here, I finally sat down and said, I'm going to learn to skate. I've been trying to learn to skate for 5 years.
I've been seeing your videos.
Bitch, y'all see that wagon moving to left and right, to left and right, girl. When I tell you, it has been everything. And it's like those little pieces, that is how you build confidence. That is how you build self-worth. That's how you build up that just like with your old nigga, how you done built up all that time. That's why you don't want to cut him off. I'm building up so much time with me. Like, it feels so good. And and I'm not saying that it doesn't have difficult times.
Yeah.
It is why I have a protection over myself. I think that a lot of us want to feel protected by having a partner. I think that we get tired of our ass cheeks being clenched walking into the grocery store. I think we get tired of men hitting on us. I think we get tired of doing it all ourselves. But I think
Amen.
that we need to create this life where if this was all I have is me, am I going to waste it being alone? Like I had made a post the other day, and I apologize. I keep, I'd be long-winded, but
No,
actually, I
go.
don't apologize. Let's stop doing
Yeah, I'm like, you're good.
Thank you for being such a great listener is a better way to put that. I had made a post the other day and I was just saying that, you have to be where you are. I have a friend who was with the love of her life, and I mean a divine man, just a divine man. And I think she was with him somewhere between like 12 to 16 years, don't quote.
Okay.
And he passed away. And
Oh,
and now she has to live the rest of her life. Not saying that she won't get married again or, whatnot, but she has to live the rest of her life without him. And so we focus so much on time and timing, so anxious to flirt with a version of what it is that we truly want. And you don't understand. You might find the love of your life and then something might happen. Like at the end of the day, she was with him maybe 16 years. Even if you
yeah.
find your partner at 40, 45, 50, and you live until 70 or 80,
That's a good run.
more it's time. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? That 20 years don't, and that's the thing. We'd be like, oh, I want to be with somebody for 20 years. There are people that have been with their partner for 20 years because they met them young. And so many people are like, well, you got somebody. You have no idea how life is going to flip on people. None of us have
In
it
a
really
second.
better.
Yeah.
Like, none of us have it better. It's just about learning to accept that this is the life that I need to push me into the place that I'm eventually supposed to be at so I can fulfill my story before I'm out of this thing. And we're just so focused on having when every time you get something, you're
It's the next goal. It's what's next. I gotta do this. Oh, check, I did this. Now I gotta do that. Oh,
You told us to pray on the stories for you to get this job, and then you got the job, and now you like, oh, I can't believe I ain't never praying for you again. Like, what? Like,
but I mean, it's true. We're constantly, the goalpost is moving, right? And I think even listening to you say that, it's like we don't relish in where we are in the moment.
you're
Like,
always gonna miss something. Like, you're gonna
yeah.
miss something about where you are right now. I am living in this van. I have some college roommates. I am starting over. My credit is in the fucking tank. And today I took a walk. It started raining, and I sat in a at a cat little cafe with my little dog, and I watched the rain.
But
I
look at
watched the rain for
somebody
30 fucking minutes.
somebody can be listening to that like, oh my God. But then I'm also like, damn, the freedom behind that, right?
The
Because
freedom behind letting shit sink. How much of what you're doing is actually working? How much of it is actually working? If you got sick today and nobody could show up and do the things, what things would fall apart in your life? And the thing is that and I know we haven't got into this, they probably like, what the fuck is she talking about? But the reason that my life is not falling apart, the things that I was having to constantly make withdrawals from myself on, not getting what I deserve. We're talking about getting what you deserve from niggas. A lot of us ain't getting what we deserve from these careers, from the businesses, from the business partners, from the collaborations, from the deals. Fuck a nigga. You worried about like you not getting a lot of what you deserve from your
the
parents,
worth
your family. Like, come on.
that knowing your worth translates to every
How you do
area.
one thing is how you do everything. And
Yes.
that is what I found out. That is why.
That's something.
That is why.
So you just said it. All right, you done jumped. You're in I'm saying a period of transition and growth, right?
Yeah.
So most people are familiar with you. If they listen to you on the past on the podcast, if they followed you, they're your follower. They are used to you. You were teaching us how to ride dick and own your sexuality, and you were doing your art exhibit events, you had your content house, you were doing your podcast, like you was out
The
there.
girl has lived, okay?
You was there. So now you just said, I'm living in this van. I have roommates. How what was the moment that made you accept
I need you to talk
it
to
was
me like how
gone?
you really want to talk to me, because I feel like you trying to be choosy with your words. Booney, you are good people. Your intentions are always pure, and every time I've made a transition, you've been the first one to call me, every time. And every time after that, things have always gone where they go. When
Well,
you
let's
honey,
go. Let's
well,
go.
talk to me, baby. Talk to me. What's
So,
up?
like, when did you know, like, oh shit, like that? When was your oh shit moment? Like,
Of like, this isn't working?
this is not working.
When was the first time, or the first time I ignored it, or the first time that,
Okay, what was your first
which
red
one? There's a
flag?
lot of firsts.
Okay, what was your red flag that you ignored?
I don't even know which one the first one was. I had already put my foot in so deep. I had already dedicated myself to looking past any fucking flag because I had already spent the money. Anyways, so for you guys that don't know, I invested well, let's go back. A lot of you guys met me from Sexual Essentials,
Yep.
which became $1 million business. It took me all over the world. It afforded me the opportunity to complete my bucket list at 30, including one of those things being buying my dream RV. I converted a transit van, into a tiny home. And at that time, it was used for vacationing. And I'm not going to say burnt out, but my
Okay.
passion and desire for doing Sexual Essentials was no longer fulfilling. And I've never
Mm,
done anything for money. Like, if I did something, it was for a purpose, something needed to be done. I was solving a problem. To me, I was just getting tired, not of the people, but I love Sexual Essentials because it was fixing a problem. And after a while, people want you to do a couple of things. People want you to teach them how to hang from the rafters. And it's like, yeah, I have taught you how to do every single thing. I've taught you how to have orgies, threesomes, give head, like reconnect, talk about everything. If you're still having issues, the solution is not going to be for me to be
keep
repurposing
giving.
this content. The solution is that we need to find a solution to help you create a life that you truly desire to live, which was always what Sexual Essentials was about, except intimately. The problem, let's start with the problem before I even knew I had fucked up. The problem was that Sexual Essentials, what I didn't know at the time, kind of goes back to like the 4 agreements.
Okay.
The 4 agreements, there's one that says don't take things personal.
Personal. Yeah.
And I think that we take that at like face value. I think we take that as like, if someone's having a bad day, don't let it rub off on you. That's one thing, right? But also, I believe that I took my dad's issues, which, if you guys know me from Not Just Another Sex Podcast, that entire podcast was about me telling the truth about my life and how I became the woman that you guys know, which included my upbringing of actual sexual, I don't know how you beeping this out, assault in the
Mhm.
home growing up by the hands of my father and my mother staying with him. And I believe that Sexual Essentials is a reflection of me taking that trauma personal. I believe that I took on an identity as a
Mhm.
people pleaser so much because in the home I had to navigate around their emotional issues. My dad was letting my mom be emotionally abusive because she was covering up that he was being sexually abusive.
Yeah.
And so I say that I'm an empath, but it's hard to know, was that really a gift bestowed on me or one that I had to learn to
A
protect myself?
coping mechanism. Yeah.
To protect, because I can read an energy shift in a second, because if you don't, bitch, you might fuck around and get slapped. You might, like, you got to get fast, okay? So
Yeah.
so I believe that instead of learning to let the ship sink, I learned to rationalize with your abuser or the person, which is why they removed children from the home, you know? And when that didn't happen, I saw the humanity in my parents. I saw that they did not desire to hurt me, but I also saw that they had no willpower over changing like their life. And for a long time, I thought that if there were solutions out there, if we weren't covering up
Mm.
desires, then maybe if my dad had a proper outlet, he wouldn't have been climbing in my bed.
Mm.
And of course, now at 33, I'm much more aware that that's not the case. But at the end of the day, God will reach you wherever the fuck you are at. And so he reached me there. And it doesn't mean it's your final state. It's never
Yeah.
your final state. But at that time, it served a purpose. A lot of other people resonated, and it was a real issue. But the more that I healed, the less fulfilling it was because it wasn't my full identity. My identity was tied to helping people find the solutions to change their life, right? Which is something I'm clearly here for. But it being sex hit a wall, it hit a ceiling, and that's not me. So I thought, people need to learn how to do this. They need to see it more ways. And I thought I needed more people. I thought I needed to help others share their
Do
content
those things.
and how
Yeah.
to teach. If I can blow up as a sexual education teacher, then if other people who had good content blew up, then like we could help change the world. Bitch, ain't nobody asked you to do that. Nobody. Nobody. Ain't nobody.
So then here comes the content house.
Here comes the content house. And this is where ego shows up. I can do it. This is the first time I took a gamble. Sexual Essentials wasn't a gamble. It started off as a blog. It started off somewhere I could reach and it grew naturally, right? It was only me touching the tip of the iceberg, but I never gave myself the credit of being the reason why it blew up. Despite how many sex education classes was out there, no matter how many types was out there, nobody was hitting that thing like I was hitting. Other podcasts maybe or things like that. But the way that Sexual Essentials did what it did, it took the internet by storm, and you see the influence, and that's very beautiful. But why did I not feel the my own self-worth to say, hey, I'm going to branch off into a new version of content? I thought that it was irresponsible to build a business on my face and on my name, as if people like Exo Nicole have not sold their business for millions, as if
And that's
like
the goal. That's the goal, to scale it and sell it. And that's the conversation that's happening now on the internet as a tangent about Black businesses who do that and then sell. And we're watching Hailey Bieber get billion for her makeup brand. But
yeah.
then when you get the Black businesses, Mayel and not Shea Radiant, Shea Moisture, when they sell, then we blame them as sellouts and cop outs. So I can see how you would sit here and say, no, I can't.
You only know what you know, but
Yeah.
once you start moving off of what you know in your mind, you're shutting down the divine gifts that were given to you, which don't always make sense. And because I didn't know who I was, and don't get me wrong, I was not figuring it out, right?
Okay.
At that moment, what I should have done is take the gap year. When my Sexual Essentials page got deleted, I should have taken the gap year. And I was hurt for multiple reasons when it was time to leave. The last art exhibit gave me so many issues. I ran into a couple that had sexual assault cases, and you know how I feel about things like that.
Yeah.
And you've seen the things, and so it just got to a point where I said, "Oh, if I can't trust y'all, we'll shut all this shit down." But that's just the art exhibit. Sexual Essentials as a whole, all the content was still available. I said, here, this is available. And I wanted to move on to find the thing. But instead of me finding out the answer, I had a whole bunch of ideas and I started them all at once. I started my podcast, bought the content house and the media group all at once. And
And so I'm gonna pause here real quick because
sure,
you just said that you did it all at once. And outside looking in, there were people looking like, damn, she a boss bitch. She killing this shit. And I know I was one of them like, yeah, I'm proud of you, girl. You did that shit.
and I think it was necessary. At the end of the day, the path that you take is the one that you needed. It's just sometimes we have to look in the mirror and say, when I chose that path, what was the other option at that time? The other option was that when my Sexual Essentials page got deleted, I had more than enough to live off of for 3 to 5 years, even living at a high state, right? Like, even if I wanted to. Mind you, I was living well below my means. Like, I didn't go bankrupt from, like, blowing all this money on, like,
Getting Birkins and
yeah, like, now don't get me wrong, sister girl went shopping for sure, but no, majority of that was the cocktail house, you know what I mean? So, but even then, scarcity shows up. And when you come from a home that you didn't clawed to get out of and you become a millionaire, which is already unheard of by what, 29, 30, it's already unheard of. you get scared. Because it wasn't $1 million you that got it out the mud. It was you that was just like, I don't really give a fuck about this money long as I ain't never got to go back there. As long as I never have to go back home. I'm out of a divorce. Like, I have to be okay. I'm a mom. Like, you know what I mean? And so you start making these decisions like, I need my next money move. But the thing about God is that he'll let you go out and play in the sandbox. You still gonna have to pick up all that motherfucking sand. And when you done, you still got to finish this race. And so I feel like I'm right back where he desired for me to be at taking a gap year. Take the fucking time. Let me talk to you, sister girl. Like, let me talk to you. And so putting more emphasis on what others, you end up bartering away your divine gifts for things that cost a lot in the world. And it's people that, at the end of the day, divine gifts may look like they cost nothing, but that is wisdom. And when you have that type of wisdom and that type of grace over your life and your integrity is high value, you have to watch who you let touch you. You have to watch.
God, look at this divine intervention, this transition. Because I was really about to ask you. Now I'm about to be messy.
Go ahead with it.
Now, for the people that you were interacting in the business space, because you were up there, you were swinging with some of the podcast big dogs, right? How has the reception been since you've come out and said, I'm broke and I've lost it all?
They say what they always say about me. You so authentic and strong. Like, that's what they always say. And that's why I don't always get a lot of help. I always seem okay. So what I've learned is that when I allow people to stay in my life without helping, they will never think I need the help. But if the standard is that if you're going to be here, you're going to benefit, then that'll be the case. I don't think I haven't had any negative talk. I think that I've just seen a lot of things for what they are. And I see that as a person who grew up with this void of love, in all different forms and fashions, I have treated people like family that have families. Therefore, they're not treating me like family. Some of them are not even treating me like a friend. And at the end of the day, a lot of people don't have the integrity to say that, hey, you're giving me more than I'm comfortable with because I'm not returning. Like me, if someone showers me at a place and I don't feel like we're on that level, I will say, oh, no, thank you. Most people are not going to do that.
They don't. They're just going to keep taking. As long as you're offering it up,
as long as
you're
you're
going to keep
offering.
taking.
And also, you land with people that cannot understand where you come from. Like, sometimes you doing business with people that's like, well, at least you got something to go back to. You're talking about the thing that I built before the, so you're dealing with people that are not on the same level. But because you're uncomfortable with saying that, because you don't want to sound like a bitch, you don't want to sound snooty. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter about someone's gift. Have they learned to hone it? What are you want to invest in this show for somebody that wasn't producing it already? Even if it was trash, were they doing it already? One of the things I love about like The Real Mama Pie, which is a show we were producing, and we were doing it for them. Like it was just, they were under the SE Media Group name.
I'm jealous.
They were in Atlanta, like it was beautiful, but they were already doing a show. I didn't create them.
Yeah.
I upgraded the production of it. I put my money behind them and we wanted to sell ad space on it. Like, it didn't work out, but I don't regret that. But a lot of the things that I wanted to do, a lot of things that I was exchanging were with people that had never had it. And so they were overvaluing that quote unquote, oh, you were working with these names, you working with these names. They valued seeing the names. And I'm like, this is half the reason that I don't want to do this. I'm not this type of person. I'm not kissing anybody's ass. I have been in the room with a lot of the secrets that have come out on the internet. That little girl that I live with.
Oh, just the college girl.
Girl, let me tell you. But I had to rent that room, baby. That baby needed a shower. But it just, a lot of people be chasing this clout and they have this veil of desperation thinking that someone else can change their outcome. That if this person sees you, they can change something. And it's not true. It's not real. And a lot of these people, you also see how people act behind closed doors outside of their shows. You see a lot of different things that I don't give a fuck. It didn't make me any extra money. A lot of them don't want to pay more money. And even like the relationships you have with people, I got a call like right after I shut down the content house, and a girl that I thought that I was friends with was calling me, and she was like, oh, how you doing? And I had to give it a last test run. This was the last test run for me. I said, she's going to ask me for something. And this is somebody who will ask me for something. And I think that we're on a level that it's like, oh, okay, hey, do you have so-and-so's manager's number? Do you have so-and-so? And it's like, we work in the same circles, I know that you're gonna pull your weight, and if I don't give it to you,
Okay.
you're gonna get it. Like, you're in you know what I'm saying? You up there,
Yeah.
it needs to be done, but then when I ask for something, it's always a, "Oh,
It's
well,
a
we just
let
ran
me
across
see.
them. Oh, well, I don't know, let me ask. Oh, it's not like that." It's always something, and they reached out and they said, "Hey, I was trying to see if you were available on this date. I'm gonna be in Atlanta, and we need a place to shoot." I said, "Well, I closed the content house." Like, I announced that I closed the content house, like a month or 2 ago. And they said, "Oh, shoot, damn, I was looking for a place that I could record for free in town. I'm going through
For
bank
free.
I'm closing my place, and you're on the phone with me right now telling me that when you know I've closed it, or maybe you don't. Either way, this isn't what I think it is." And I had to just start saying, like, these professional relationships are just that. And what I thought was kindness was niceness, because you're afraid to not be liked. And you're afraid to not seem like a girl's girl. But a girl's girl has never put me in a place of feeling like that. Like,
Yeah.
people, they play a nasty game in entertainment, and we see exactly how it's playing out. And so that it's a lot. It's a lot. And it's not anything that I blame anybody else for, but it doesn't matter who walked through those doors if everybody's trying to get something for free, and if people do not want a higher level quality of stuff. They want to penny you out. They want to not speak when they walk in rooms. Everybody thinks they are too good to we have, as a team, I have addressed people a million times. "Hey, if you can't speak to my team, then I don't think this is going to be a match."
And I
One
love that.
And that's the thing, standing up for so many people that when the tables were turned, they did
They
not
didn't.
stand up for me. And the thing is that a lot of people will run and be under your wing because they know that you have a standard, but they haven't actually proven that they require that same standard for themselves. And so I end up coming out here trying to protect and save the community, and that's not what we do. And so I had to learn this lesson, that why did you do it? Why don't you want to go alone? You're climbing so fast. Why do you keep bringing people with you? Why do you keep choosing decisions,
So
making them personal for others? Why are you doing that?
so with all this you learned,
Ugh, yeah.
I'm about to ask, and I know what you said before. You said the nice little Oprah Winfrey soundbite with it. I'm gonna ask you, would you do it again?
This
Would you do the same path? If you had the same, would you do it again? Or would you really take the break year and you think out of the break year, something else would have developed out of it?
It would have developed either way. That's the beautiful thing about grace. See, it's like playing you ever played Candyland?
Yes.
You ever hit
Been
a
a long time, but I didn't play
You
it.
ever hit one of them shoots and you gotta go all the way back down
Yeah.
to the bottom of the game? You still gotta walk the same path either way, but sometimes you step on a chute and you have to start over, but you're starting over not because it was accidental. It was because when I made those decisions, the beautiful thing about me, and this is why I feel protected and why I'm like, damn girl, you are a gem and just a beautiful spirit. My intentions were right. It was never me intentionally trying to set somebody up, me intentionally trying to get people to think that, oh, they can come get this for a lower cost and then just bail and leave. No, I tried and I lost and I failed. But I had nothing but pure intentions and the most beautiful communication in telling people always the truth. Hey, I apologize. I'm not going to be able to take that book and I have to close.
Yeah.
I mean, I called podcasts that were like, "Hey, there's furniture for sale here. I know that you can get this for much cheaper because I'm about to go bankrupt, so they're gonna put it on the curb anyway. So like, you can like still looking out in the loss, like I would do it again if that's really where I was. The person in me thought that I needed a team to build a media network. The person in me thought that building $1 million business on my name was a risky idea and that I became a millionaire by chance. I discounted everything about me. I discounted every single part. This was something that I chose because I needed to see myself. These business decisions, these people that I worked with are the contracts that I made before I even got here to say what is going to bring me to who I need to become. And being hurt in those type of ways by myself, by others, by my decisions, by not seeing
Yeah.
that clarity is why we're talking now. yes, I would have got there. I think that this is rubbed off of my son. He has an interest
Mm.
in videos. I have no idea where this is gonna go, but if so, I'll pull this up in 20 years when y'all see my baby directing a movie maybe. I don't know. Sometimes we do the work that's not for us to reap the rewards. But
Yeah.
this is the gift. I've done it. Even if I failed, I've done more than most. I've been like, I don't have a desire to go back and do some of those things again because I did it.
You've done it.
Even if it ended, I did it and I got accolades while doing it. And if that was what ego could do, I can't wait to see what it looks like when I start co-creating with God and saying that I'm not in scarcity mode. I am I'm patient. I know that when it's time to move, I don't have to act like I'm never going to get nothing again. And ever since I've done that, I've been more taken care of in so many ways. And I believe that the universe, I believe that God, I think that all the things, whatever you guys call them, I think that he wanted me to make the decision on how to move and trust myself for me. So that way, when I go into this next season and everybody's wowed by what I do or don't do next, it is just going to be a reflection that she has always been that young lady that is living authentically. And that's really what all of us need to be doing. We come back to earth just to feel the physical things, like the joys. Like I've sat on stage at an Usher concert. I've taken a shopping spree, a real one. I've flown first class. I've taken the
You went to Dubai.
I did the
I
thing.
see the trip.
And if this is how I retire,
Yeah.
and going to a place of minimalist living, there is something really weird about the way we rely on certain things.
So this is
Oh
another
my God.
thing that I'm grasping with too. Um, we have become really big consumers of things. And you see it a lot on social and this the halls. I went to ASOS hall and the Shein hall and this. Like, where have we become where it's the quantity of what we have is what's the selling point, that you need 15 $6 shirts from Shein that are destroying the earth and were made with forced labor, probably child labor. Like, so I'm grappling with that myself. I don't know if I'm in a place where I could live in a tiny home. I'll be honest. I'm gonna be honest. But I'll be looking like, why the fuck do I have so much shit? And I've been doing this even with my clothes. I'm personally somebody, and I can say people probably do not believe me, but I can tell you it's trauma behind it. I've never shopped Shein, Fashion Nova, just because I'm a big girl and I'm just like, I can't have some shit falling apart and now I'm on the internet.
You so funny.
That's just trauma. So I know where it come from. I just don't shop there. So when I say this is not to be judgy, because I understand times is hard. So if you gotta get the $6 shirt, get the $6 shirt.
Girl, it's not even $6 no more. A lot of that stuff is expensive, and it goes up subtly.
It does, because Pretty Little Things I saw the girls talking about with the tariffs, they rebrand it now to try to be Zara and shit.
Hold on 1 second. Patient.
Yeah, it's your home. But it's just like this consumption of we just want a lot of things. And I've been trying to release things. Like I was going through my closet and this stuff. And I'm like, why do you still have the dress that you graduated college from? Why? You're not
Everything
gonna
is not a
fit it.
member.
Yeah,
Everything is
I
not a
don't
member.
need to keep that. I have the picture, I have the diploma, the degree. I got that shit.
Yeah.
Recycle. Throw this damn dress away because it's 20 years old at this point.
And it's so crazy because when you don't practice being where you are, you miss it every single time. And I had to remind myself there's a time where I look back at a picture and I was nearly obsessive with my size then. And then I look at where I am now and it's like, now it's not even the best example because I've learned to really I'm so good where I am. Just it's always beautiful when you look back. Therefore, why can't I just believe that it's good now? And you know, you got it. I think that sorry, let me start that over in case you want to, let me get my thought together.
Mhm.
when we look back at, like, those pictures, we say, "Oh, I thought I was big." I was literally mentally miserable, obsessive, unkind, and saying things to myself that I've never said to anyone else or treated anyone else, all for me to be wrong 3 years later, ready to sell off my firstborn to get back to that size, and so at what point do we look in the mirror and say, "It's every time we go through a certain emotion, we either go shop or we go eat or we call someone. But what we won't fucking do is lay there and meditate." And I hate to sound like it, but bitch, I ain't never been a liar. I ain't gonna start now. There's so many answers in meditation. There's so much pleasure in meditation. There's so much release, but it is a resistance because the
But I
thing,
think it goes back to what you said earlier about validation, right? You have to be secure in yourself to stand in your decision making. And so oftentimes, you know what you wanna do, and
you would have to do it alone if you did it that way.
yes, you choose the bias. I know when I want a certain answer, I know which friend I'm calling,
Not even that.
or
Sometimes you even sit in it. Know that you're right, but will do all this hard work, wrestling, convincing because you see the potential in people because you wish somebody else would have taught you the same thing. And so you're giving them what you thought that you needed. When the truth is if all of us get out of fucking victim mode, we realize
Mhm.
nobody is the problem. And sometimes you got to leave a motherfucker where they at. If they don't understand that this is not happening to them, it's happening for them. Am I telling you to tell them that at their mama funeral? No, nigga. I'm just saying.
Like, this is happening.
Saying that when people keep going on and on and on and they want to keep reliving the bad, that's not even normal. Even as a person, like that's a pretty positive person. I have bad moments, but even in a bad moment, like even when someone passed, there's a chuckle. I watched a friend lose a child, and when we met up, something happened that was funny, and she laughed. And it was
Mm.
the room was like, "Oh my God." And she was like, "Y'all, like, this is really sad. Don't get me wrong, but like I can't force it
You
or act
can't stop
wrong
living,
that's happening."
yeah.
Like, and is she okay? No, but at the end of the day, it's a crazy way that things fit when you go through what is meant for you because it's taking you somewhere. It's taking you somewhere. And it just 42 while I'm away, Sydney.
Mm.
It just it's taking you somewhere. It's a route and it's really crazy, but it's a journey and we keep trying to arrive and we're fucking up the movie.
Fucking it up. So, are you excited for what's next? Do you have a plan? Or are you
Well,
just
I have
kinda
no plan oh, you know
I'm
what? That's not true. You know what?
I'm like, I don't even believe that you ain't had no plan.
I have some things that I'm working on this, the van life vlog, which is a lot about just like me returning home to myself and showing just the BTS. Like, so it's very unpredictable what you might see. Like next week episode is about why I cut my locks off and how so much like even that was a look in the mirror. Like, baby, you have no edges. Why are you hanging on to these? Do you think you're gonna be ugly? And if you are ugly, do you think you can't survive as an ugly woman? Like, what's going on? Because some people are ugly. You don't even give a fuck when you meet ugly people. It's not like you be like, "Ugh, they ugly." Like, so why do you care if you happen to be ugly? Unless you really care. And so it's just like, how many things are you and so once I cut my hair off, when I tell you motherfucking all responsibilities start falling like flies because I no longer was fighting myself. You know what I'm saying? So I just chose the easier route. Anyways, I say all that to say, I have enrolled in school. I already have a degree. And when I was doing sexual essentials, I considered doing sexology.
Mhm.
And I didn't because I did not feel it. And so I have I'm not going to say taken an interest. I think it's been some time. But I've started a new path. And so I'm going to save that because I'm learning something to save for myself. I'm learning to save something for myself. And I cannot wait to come back and talk about it with you because you always call when you get ahead of the game, honey. And I love the way you
But,
see others. But
I struggle with that is my I don't wanna say imposter syndrome, but that's the one thing I'll be like, "Damn, yo, I really gotta sit in my own shit," as you say, with the podcast. I let the people bully me back into live shows. So, I just dropped that date today because 'cause I'm like,
good.
I
Good.
gotta do it. Like, it's been 3 years, they bullied me into it. But like I be looking at shit and I be like, yo, I be looking at the big, and I said the big boy podcasters, we know who they are. But I be looking like, yo, I did an episode on that shit 6 months
Or
ago. Or I had that person on 8 months ago. Like I be looking
But I
like
think that's smart. I think it's smart because once people hit a certain level, it's harder to reach them. And as
yes,
they grow, their standards are going to change. And once you're
yes.
grandfathered in, if people have the right heart, they will keep the respect. Like,
And you have
it-
always done that. And I will also say, and I'm gonna let the record reflect too, I did reach out to Samia to do a live show. And she sent her rider and I said, whoo. And I ain't nickel and dime you. What I say, sis? I said,
yeah.
this is
Okay, we tried to do it, but we couldn't make it
a while ago.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
I
yeah.
responded back. I said, I'm not there to afford that, but when I get there, I'm a bookie, sis. And I'm a stand by that.
And I think also there are different levels. I think we have to learn to let people know, like, hey, I'm available at this capacity for sure. But
Yes.
when things start costing us our energy, if you're talking to another secure person, they will always understand. I've never said a no to someone that got upset that's still in my life. Never.
Same.
Never.
Same.
Never. And that's just that. And also people will ask when it's in, in the ranges, but also I live in fucking bumfuck. You know what I'm saying? Like to get me somewhere does cost money. Like,
Yes.
with tiny ass airports, but I am working on the Bankrupt Millionaire. I started that and I am, oh my God, I'm in love with the concept of the Bankrupt Millionaire. And I really love the fact that it's really sharing the nitty-gritty on how a lot of us are going bankrupt and we don't even know it. Because what I will say now, because a lot of people can't join the conversation as a millionaire and a bankrupt person. I think I have beautiful insight. I've been both. The same way
That is
I
true.
became a millionaire is the exact same way that I became bankrupt. Because if you try to apply the lessons that you learned getting into something the first time, if you try to do all of that, once you get to a higher level, it doesn't have the capacity to sustain. And also, sometimes you're meant to win on certain things to give you a stepping stone to evolve, not to repeat that chapter. It's just like when people stay at McDonald's on the main line for 40 years. Were you supposed to hold that job that whole time? I'm not saying you have to go be a CEO. That's not what the fuck.
Yeah.
Like, if I was to go back and get a job, I'd probably go work at a flower shop. I'm not about to use nothing that takes my mental.
Same. I tell people all the time, like I would be like an electrician or I don't know, something handsy. I
Electricians
don't know.
make money. I was talking about some simple shit. You talking about some real shit. And I said I could be broke. I guess I don't think that we even realize how much mental labor we put into so many things.
We
And
don't. Yeah.
the effort is sometimes a red flag. When you chase effortless effort,
Mm.
you realize that's the thing. Think about it. If you want to be a doctor, that is effortless effort. And I say that because if you're meant to be a doctor, you will have all the skills that will point you there. You'll get to every point, even if you get the degrees, if it's paid for, you think that shit still ain't fucking hard. I don't give a fuck how many grants you get. I don't give a damn if you got in with $700,000 in scholarships. It's effortless effort. The plan might be there, but it doesn't mean that it won't be difficult. So why add any more extra difficulty on there? The effort that I put in needs to be effortless. If I'm going to set up to be on a show, this is effortless. Why? Because I'm respected. Effortless effort is when you going in rooms where you're not respected and you're trying to make yourself work in the way that you already built to work. It's not effortless effort. You having to work a lot emotionally just to show up and do your job career-wise. It costs too much.
Costs too much.
I'm gonna say it costs too much.
It costs too much. It costs too much.
I'm gonna say it's gonna take 2 days for my nervous system to relax from knowing that I was in a room with people that didn't really fuck with me. Like,
yes. Oh goodness. You preaching right there. That's some real shit.
like
That's some real shit.
it's not worth it. Like, and that's the thing. Oh my God. So many of these names, so many people, these people we look up to. I don't know if you're really supposed to look up to anybody. I think you're supposed to just be inspired and move the fuck on.
I do, and I talk about it often. These little devices have done a little number on us, the access that we have to people, to thoughts, and I think
it's a false sense of community for sure.
Yeah, so
a lot of people, no.
When they go back in 20 years and they're doing studies of what social media and these smartphones did to us.
There's gonna be some shit. Call this number. You may be.
Yeah, like it's gonna be some shit. Well, look,
But yeah,
before we wrap up, because I'm very excited to see what comes next. I know that you will, I won't say reinvent yourself, but you will solidify yourself and find the path that you were destined to walk all along. And it will be amazing. I can't wait to watch it. I've been, I won't say fan, but I have been a supporter for a while.
I think you are definitely a supporter. And I say supporter because anytime there's an opportunity to extend my voice, you call, you do work. I think support is a verb. And so I think you're definitely a supporter, but I also don't think there's anything wrong with being a fan. I'm definitely fans of a lot of people that I know their work, and just watching creators do their thing. I
It's and
definitely, oops, sorry.
it's not easy. It's not easy. It's not
Mm-mm.
easy.
It's
So
being judged, but once we like take that moment of clarity, because a lot of us don't have it. We think clarity is crystal clear when it's not. Clarity is just lack of confusion. It's not.
yes.
Clarity does not mean that it's crystal fucking clear. I was crystal fucking clear about the content house. I knew the next 50 steps, 50 years, how I was going to retire, what I was going to do if it didn't work out. I was going to make it an Airbnb. And then when it got real old and dusty and my kid got old, I was going to knock it down and rebuild. I was crystal clear. But there was a lot of confusion in that crystal clear plan versus
Mhm.
right now. I don't know. I can't see my hand in front of my face right now that God has me in the dark. I can't tell you what's next because he didn't learn Big Mouth Billy Bass is a believer and she can't be, don't give her shit and the shit because this motherfucker will move. I will move on that ass. Okay. So he's keeping me in the dark as well. And I do like your awareness of like, it's not even a reinvention this time. I think that this time I'm gonna be the Samaya that people only know when they get close to me, and unfortunately, it just won't be nearly as many people that know what that is, and the world gets my projects. I think that I got too attached to Sexual Essentials. I think I got too attached to Essie Content House. I think that I've made what I do my identity
Mhm.
versus who I am, and now that I'm not working, I've fallen in love because of I thought that I was my work, and it's like, "No, bitch, you were, like, one of the most interesting motherfucking humans. You've always made how you are privately into a career, and still people don't know you." And so now
Yeah,
that
that's, I
I'm
mean, that's a skill. That is.
it's just like, I just need to be myself, and where I have to try to fit in is a place I don't need to be. And
Yeah.
and I think all of us are doing that. I think that we're supposed to move on. I think we're supposed to grow out of shells, and some people are meant to do things for a long, long time.
And I think that's the thing too, because I keep saying I see the end of the podcast. I don't know what that looks like just yet, but I like, and I've been, no one should be surprised if they've been listening for a while that I've been saying, like, I see the end. I'll share when the end is when it hits me, but I see it. It's close. But I don't think, what will it be next? I don't know. That's what I don't know, but I know this is gonna wrap soon. I'm pretty.
Have you noticed that, like, a lot of the musicians and artists that left entertainment have it as a chapter in their past that people haven't forgot about, but at the same time, they've moved on to do something that is way cooler? Like,
Mhm.
just even, like, Rihanna. I hate
Yeah.
hearing people ask for another album from her, especially after it's been shown what the industry has been to people at her caliber. And I think that is so crazy because she's not forgotten. She's invited to everything. She's still at
The
everything.
fucking
Put in the
icon.
work,
Yeah.
and now she's living
Her
her
best
life.
life.
You know what I'm
And I
saying?
know people, when she got the pregnancy announcement, everyone knows I love Rihanna. So they were sending me like, "Sorry, you're not gonna get your album." And I was like, I was like, "I don't know her, but I'm happy for her because I
That's
am a fan." And she has been very vocal about wanting to have her 4 to 5 kids with her man and be happy. She's living what she's always wanted to do. That is amazing. Now, am I still, like, secretly behind my back, like, if she gave us one more album, I'm gonna be
always
mad?
open to.
Yeah, I'm hopeful. I'm never not gonna be hopeful, but I'm also kinda like, if Anti had to be the last album, I'm at peace with it because it was her best album. So if you had to go out like that. And so I think that's for me. I see what the end is near.
And it might be something, and it's so crazy because we really cap our potential and we cap what God has for us so early because we can't see it. And like something that I've noticed is that I have a thing for home. I'll fuck around and work at HGTV next year.
Mm,
I did, create a whole content house from top to bottom. I have renovated a
yeah,
van. Like we don't know what God has for us. You know what I'm saying? But we stay only with what we can see versus saying like, bring me what you need to bring me, create in me, make me aligned, like for something greater. And it's like we move on to open up spaces for the next person that's 100% excited to do it. It was very difficult watching people surpass what I've done in Sexual Essentials. There was an ego death there that it's like, dang, like if I was still doing this, like they didn't surpass what I did back then. Let people have their moment.
yeah.
God reaches you where you are. There is a young lady that might start her podcast because you ended yours. Like, you know what? I loved what Booney did. And I know that, but I was always a listener. Like, you never know. And it's just like, why am I so scared that this is the best? If I'm not dead, then this is not the best. And also, I did my career. Even if I never become a working woman again, I have a full career that people don't even die with.
You did it.
And I had such a tumultuous childhood that if anything, right now, it's time to play. Like, I'm a child again. I am a child again. I go
I
walking,
love
go
that for you.
skating. Next week, I'm going fishing. Like, my goal for the summer is to learn to fillet a fucking fish. That is my biggest goal on the fucking calendar this summer. Is to
I
learn how to
love
fillet
that.
fish. Like,
I
because
mean, I love this for you. Look, I better see your vlog where you filleted that motherfucking fish.
girl, and you know how I am. I'm still a hard worker, so I gotta go find me a good knife. I want it to be teal. Yeah, like I am me in all things, and I think I just want to tell people like let go of how people see you and what you're trying to give the world. Give it to yourself first. Give it to yourself first. Like I ain't trying to be funny, but don't nobody really think about you before they go to sleep.
Ooh,
There might be people that care about you. It might be people you in their community, but nobody is
and
remembering you until you give them something to remember. Therefore, when you're out of sight, you're out of mind. Nobody gives a fuck if you go and try.
yeah.
And if you have so much confidence in this person you don't know, yet you won't go start some shit. You won't go be bad. Like, go fucking live. All my life is mistakes. And yet look at the fucking resume.
Look at it. It speaks for itself. Look, I think that's the perfect note to end on. I was gonna do the breakdown. I don't even want to do that no more.
I
Look,
don't
we'll
want to do
probably
it. It's
do
been years.
you want okay. I'll
I
do
just
it for
want.
you.
I'm just interested to see what you're gonna say. I know I was talking a lot. It's been forever since I've been on the mic, girl.
Okay.
With somebody.
All right, we're gonna do the breakdown. I'm gonna say a word. You say the first thing that comes to mind. It could be another sound, another word, a phrase, whatever.
Let's see if I've changed.
Okay. We always start with Black women.
Excellence. Divinity. Divine.
Huh? Divine. I like that.
Divine. Like
Hobbies.
skating. Fishing.
Orgasms.
All the time. As many as you can get.
Money.
Flows to me effortlessly.
Yes. Affirmations. Freedom.
Is mine.
Clarity.
Is lack of confusion.
Threesomes.
Still a yes.
She's still in there, y'all. And last one, reflection.
Solitude.
Solitude. All right, girl. Tell everybody the new handles, if they're new handles, where they can find you, where they can watch the vlog, and keep up with this new transition.
All right, y'all. You can follow the bald head girl. See, that's why I get trying to talk shit. Follow the bald head girl. I'm gonna send you my link tree. It just has all my stuff in there. But I
Okay.
set up my personal page, Maya Bugsy. I turned the backup sexual essentials page to the new, not just another sex podcast page. So all my sex stuff is on one page now. The Bankrupt Millionaire has a page. It's _ the Bankrupt Millionaire. The Charlie Van Cafe, if you want to see me, cooking and living in a van. And the YouTube is still there. So It's for
Perfect.
5 links, and I'll send Booney 1 link, and y'all can just go and swag surf and,
That is easy. So I'll put that in the show notes, thebooniebreakdown.com. But girl, it was happy. I'm so happy to have you back and chatting with you.
Thank you, girl. You
You look
never miss.
glowing and you look free, and I love it for you.
I appreciate you. You have the Midas touch, okay? Ain't nothing that you touch that don't do what it's supposed to do. You're doing what you're supposed to do, and I cannot wait to see what you do next.
Well, I received that.
Or if you do nothing, I can't wait to see you do that too. Because, bitch, I love to see a Black woman do nothing. I love to see
Listen.
women do nothing.
Listen, I do not dream of labor, okay?
I don't. But I love you. Thank you. It was amazing yet again.
Yes, always.
All right. Bye, girl.
All right, that is it for this week's episode. I want to thank our guest, Samia. I hope you enjoyed the episode, and I hope you got something out of it, because I know I certainly did. And like I said, I'm just really, 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 really excited to see what Samia does next. All right. So be sure to support, to follow along with her journey, and, so just support her. All right. Like you have done. And, if you enjoyed this episode, I encourage you to listen and subscribe to the podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, YouTube, or anywhere that you listen to your favorites on. Don't forget to leave a 5-star review in Apple Podcasts and Spotify. I really, really appreciate it. You can follow us on social media, share the episode with those you love, those you don't love, those you fucking hate. I don't make these goddamn reels for nothing, okay? Have a dope-ass week. Stay healthy, stay safe, stay sane. Thank you for listening. And remember, the ratchet in me always honors the ratchet in you. Namaste. Until next time.